All right.
All right. This is the Two Bros Bruins Talk podcast. What are we on? Episode three?
Oh,
I
wow.
think we are on episode three. Yeah.
Yeah, here we
All
go.
right. Okay. So yeah, the first thing on the agenda today is we're gonna go over the finals a little bit. What did we expect it to be? Vegas and Carolina.
I don't think I don't think most people did. I'm sure a lot of people figured Carolina would get to the semis, right? They had a
Yeah.
pretty easy path there. But yeah, I don't think anybody thought that at least maybe Buffalo or Tampa wouldn't have, gave them
I originally thought in that division, I thought it was going to be Tampa. I mean, they were looking.
a
I know
yeah,
Carolina all through the season, but I really just felt like Tampa going to pull it off. They somehow probably will. And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I feel like they got goaltenders,
they got
especially
Dobished.
they got Dover right. But here's the thing, like I'll give Montreal credit. I mean, they got as far as they did, but boy, oh boy, they could not put up a fight in those last two series. Like they should have never got past Buffalo. It went to seven, and then it was like Buffalo should have won that game, and then
Yeah,
Buffalo usually does. They killed themselves. They shot themselves in the foot, and then Montreal went and had this great game in the first game, and I think gave all these my my favorite game
yeah.
friends, all this false hope, like they might actually get
Oh
a.
yeah. I saw so many people after the first game. Canada's gonna win. It's been 30 something, whatever it's been years. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they weren't in any of the games after that. I mean, like, yeah, the two of them went to overtime, but they
Yeah.
really weren't. Like
No.
they didn't have. I mean, it was sad. If Carolina had any more scoring, that's would have never even been close after that.
Ah, and Dobish wasn't Dobish.
Which played his butt off.
Right.
That's the other thing too, right? Like you got to, as a Bruins fan, I'm thinking, yeah, we this is another team that's going to be hard to.
Oh, I know. And man, I don't know when his contract's up, but he's going to get a lot of money if he
Oh
keeps
yeah,
playing this way. A lot of money.
yep,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. It wasn't his fault that but
Nope.
in fact, I would say he's the only reason why they even got past Tampa. So good for them.
Yeah.
But moving on,
Yeah.
Carolina, yep, good for them.
And then Vegas, I mean, Vegas does what Vegas does, I guess. I guess that's all to say, right? I don't know what else.
This feels like maybe this is their year again, and they're a steamroller. It feels like. I mean, hey, who knows? We could be shocked. Maybe Carolina gives them a good series, and I mean, I'm sure everybody'd like to see a good series, but
Yeah.
I ain't not. From my point of view, I think there might be a little bit of a feeling out in the first game, so who knows? But after,
Hmm.
I feel like I don't think there's anything that Carolina can do that that Vegas can't counter. I just feel like Carolina just can't score enough. They just deal with like they get by on shot volume, right? And
Yeah.
pressure hockey. Well, what do you do against a team that's it's gonna kind of like just like and they're gonna beat your high pressure hockey with a bunch of counterattacks and they're not afraid. So
No, not at all. Not
no,
at all.
I mean
Uh,
I'm calling it right now. I think Vegas probably takes it in six.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I kind of have I can't really disagree with that. I just
Yeah.
I I mean I can't see it going less. Man, you know, whatever. I'm gonna say Vegas in five. There we go. I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
again. I'm gonna say Vegas in five.
Yeah.
I, I think they're gonna shock everybody, and I could be 100% out wrong and out of the
Yeah.
ballpark, whatever you want to
Good
call
on
it. But I
Torts,
have,
right? Good on Marner for
yeah.
spitting in all those Toronto fans' faces.
Oh yeah, the dark days of Toronto, as he said,
Right?
dark nights. Yeah,
From
dark
Bruins
times. Yeah.
say, good job.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Good job.
I mean, he's got to feel a little vindicated. Everybody always said, "Oh,
Oh,
Marner sucks in the playoffs. He's
absolutely.
terrible," and
Absolutely.
he's probably going to get the if they win, he get the Conn Smythe, probably, right?
Right. Well, look
Yeah,
what Captain Nets did without him. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
uh, moving
All
on.
right.
Move
Then
on.
what we got next on the list? We're the reports are that was it Prager? I saw some people that were saying that the Prager said that the Winnipeg is shopping the eighth pick, and there
Yeah.
was reports that the Bruins might be inquiring about that.
Hmm.
I saw Evan. I think it was no, it wasn't Evan Markowski. It was uh, Brittany and the Brian DeFelice, I think, was talking about it that it could be Zaka and maybe the 23rd pick for the eighth overall. How do
I
you feel about that?
mixed a little bit. I mean, what's that say to Pasta if you send the second highest scorer away on, you know what I mean? For the
Yeah,
and here's the thing, like at the eighth pick, one of those defensive maybe there. It's probably not though, right? Like unless a
right.
forwards jump in there, like the Bjork kid and obviously Stenberg and McKenna. Maybe somebody else. Well, Maholdra, like maybe somebody pushes one of the big three or four down. You know, like is
Well,
it possible Carroll's could still be there at eight? Probably
I,
not. I mean, so we're
I would want a defenseman, right? But I
right.
mean, for me, that's what
But
I would say.
right, but let's be honest, right? If it's not like Verhoff or Carroll's or you know what I mean, uh, I mean, now you're getting the second like Dax and Rudolph and Lynn. That might be Dax and Rudolph.
No, no, it's too far,
Lynn's is too much of a
too
stretch, at that,
much.
right? So if you're moving up, you must have somebody in mind, and they must think that there's something up there, right? Like,
I think if they're there at eight, if Verhoff, Carroll, Smits, any one of those three, I would be happy with. I really think they can make an impact pretty soon.
I would be shocked. Like that means similar to like last year, where like somebody comes out of nowhere and jumps into that top five that we weren't really expecting, right?
Could Vigo come up that high? I don't think so, but could
Bjork,
he? Yeah.
maybe six or seven, maybe,
Well,
right?
then that would drop somebody
Maybe
down, right?
yeah, probably drop somebody down. So maybe then you do get a Verhoff or a Carroll's.
My
The
question,
yeah, go ahead.
my question is though, and this is out of left field, but if Toronto doesn't take McKenna, could that scare teams? And then he doesn't get taken until like the sixth or seventh. Could that scare us? I mean, look what happened with Higgins.
He'll go.
Nobody took him in the first three, and then all of a sudden then people were like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah, but Higgins didn't put up 51 points as a 17-year-old, and you know
I I'm just saying, is it possible that if Toronto doesn't take him with the number one, which I can't believe it,
he'll
if
go
they don't
number
take him, they're
he'll go
trading him.
number two. Like literally the next.
San Jose's going to take him, you think?
I don't know if I don't think San Jose is going to be making that pick. I think they're trading that off to somebody.
Yeah, that's the other reports. There's reports of that as well. That San Jose is looking to trade number two because
The
they're
only way I see them taking that pick is if they thought one of those defensemen were literally ready to step in the NHL right now, and they plugged them right into their team, and you know what I mean.
I mean, well, people have been saying that
Maybe,
now about Chase Reed and Schmitz. So, I
I don't.
mean,
I think I heard Chase Reed is committed to going to Michigan or one of those. So I believe he's ready. He's going to go next year to college. So
yeah,
it's not step in. Verhoff will probably go right away. Smits, who's already playing pro hockey, will go right away. Right, those are the two that you know for sure will
yeah.
step right in the NHL. How they do, I don't know, but they'll
Hmm.
step right in the NHL. Right. I mean,
Well, I think so.
thinking both of those guys are big enough and strong enough, developed
What's
physically enough to
Verhoff's
where
like 6'5", I think, 200 something
yeah,
pounds.
Smits is
Verhoff's
a
a
little
big boy.
bit 6'3", right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so I mean, I could see them maybe doing that, but I don't know. I mean, I think they're
Well,
looking for somebody who's like ready right now, like a I think they would give that pickup for someone who's
are you talking about the eighth pick?
oh no, I meant for the
Oh,
second.
oh, the
They
second pick. San Jose is going to want a a stud that's right now ready to go if they're going to trade away the second pick. I think
yeah,
they're probably looking for defensemen. Probably, honestly.
but then again, they're also gonna have to give something else too. No offense, but you know maybe that again, the only thing would be is if somehow someone thought they were getting McKenna with the second pick, but is Toronto that stupid? I mean,
I don't know. I think they would have riots in the streets. I mean, it's Toronto. We're not talking about someplace in
yeah,
Midwest, America. We're talking Toronto, where
yeah,
they would probably have like Vancouver style riots. Okay,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
mean, I don't know if they could do it. They would have to trade down to
Yeah,
not draft him.
yeah.
Um, as for is it worth it for let's say it is for arguments. Let's say it is Zaka and the 23rd pick. Is it worth it? Do you think it's worth it for number 8?
I don't think you get an offensive. You'd need to get a center, or like you'd have to get Stenberg somehow if you're going to go up there. Because if
Mm,
not, I can only imagine what Pasta would be yelling at his agent at that point, right?
mm, mm,
Like
mm.
you don't have a lot of depth anyways, and you're going to send the guy who just did a 30-30 out the door for the eighth pick, and you don't get guaranteed that. And yes, even if it's a defenseman, right? That's a
Yeah,
great. But what are you bringing back? Because now you don't have ammunition. The only thing I see is
yeah,
I'm going to have to get the eighth pick to trade it for a for a for a first line center, right? Like unless they're
yeah.
going to send that immediately to St. Louis, but why does St. Louis need the middleman there, right? Like, couldn't they just send Robert Thomas somewhere for somebody else's top five, top eight pick, right? Like,
Yeah. I honestly, at this point, I'm kind of wondering if even St. Louis is gonna deal Robert Thomas. I mean, there's some rumblings that they're interested in Toronto's the number one pick, but I mean, I've heard a few people, other YouTubers saying that there is interest, but not nothing else. I mean, but it'd be more. I don't know. Would it be? Would they? Why would they want the center? Me and you talked about this before. Like,
right,
why would
right,
Toronto want a center? I could see them wanting other things, but not for
right,
the number one pick.
right. Yeah,
Um,
they have Austin Matthews. He last I checked, he's a
yeah,
center.
yeah, and I mean,
Pretty good one.
supposedly, there's nothing confirmed. I mean, I've seen some people say that there's a reason that he only wanted a Zoom call and told them not to come down, but we won't know until I bet you we're going to find out in the next couple of weeks, though, because what's the draft of June
Well,
26th or 27th, something like that.
if that's the
So,
case, then they're definitely not dealing away the right. They're not dealing away the first overall pick. They got to make that pick if Austin Matthews wants out, right? I mean, that's kind of
well, if he wants out, wouldn't you think maybe if they're well, okay, then now we need a center? Do they want to, or do they want to rebuild? Or are they going to try and go after it and go get Robert Thomas and go out, instead of rebuilding, retooling, as Sweeney said it. You know what I mean?
maybe. But again, like I think that's flawed logic because
Yeah.
honestly, I think they got too many holes. They have more holes than they want to admit.
Oh
So
yeah.
they really just need to start like they're kind of like the Bruins, right? Like they have some pieces, but not enough. I would say the Bruins ahead of them because at least they have the
Goaltender.
defense, the goaltender, and the defense.
Yeah.
You can work your way, and they have an all world player. Well, Toronto has an all two all maybe potential if you say Nylander is also an all world player.
Yeah.
You have two of them, but that's it. You don't really have a goalie. You don't
No.
have on the back end that's worth a damn.
No.
You have Matthew Nyes is an up and coming, start.
Mm-hmm.
He's not quite to that level yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you have some bit pieces around them. John Tavares is okay, right? Not a bad play, but I don't know why we're talking about Toronto this much. But yeah,
Right. 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 Right.
it's kind of like Boston. Boston, I would say, is that I would think Boston's actually ahead of them because of that, because we have the goaltender.
So,
And we
so
have
to
Charlie, you have Hampus, you have some pieces that you can build from the back end, right?
but to bring this back to them
Yeah,
possibly dealing for the eighth pick,
yeah.
you say no, it's not worth doing.
I
I'm
say,
just wondering.
I
Go ahead.
say, if you are, see, because I feel like the eighth pick guarantees you nothing. You don't get one of the two or three stud forwards out of that draft, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other good players. Don't get me wrong, this is going to be a deep draft, but I'm talking about guys that are going to come out right away. They're going to make you a better team and make Pasta happy, right? Like
Well,
you're kind of stuck. I think you're in a bad situation right now where if you go and deal for the eighth overall pick, it doesn't, and you give away pieces off your roster like that, right? Like, doesn't that kind of sound like that's more of a rebuild than
yeah,
than
yeah,
than we're trying to find pieces for next season, right?
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I'm just concerned that do do they do any if they're looking at the eighth pick, are they looking because they're like, well, we're not going anywhere in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
Let's get more people to pieces in the cupboard, or or are they like grasping at straws? What is Sweeney doing here? I don't understand. I mean,
Honestly, I could flip that around and say, what is Winnipeg doing with dangling the eighth pick? Like
I think
you have
that's because
let's be honest, you have Connor Hellebuck, who's kind of been kind of shaky. He won a gold for US, but he really hasn't done shit in the last 2 years. He's looked kind of bad. You have Kyle Connor, you kind of wasted his career. You have Mark Scheifele. That's it.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
falls off a cliff after that. So again, I think the Bruins are farther ahead than they are.
Oh, way ahead.
Wouldn't it,
I think
wouldn't it make more sense for them to be asking the Bruins for picks and sending them Mark Scheifele to the Boston, right? Like if we had a top, 10 pick, that would be a better trade, right? Send Mark Scheifele to Boston. That's a better fit, right? And then they get a pick to rebuild for the future.
how old Shifley?
I think he's late 20s, right?
I mean, could
They tried,
could
they
you get
tried to get
Shifley from him?
they tried to get him a couple years ago when Winnipeg was kind of in a mess, and I don't
Could
think
you
Johnny did enough to just kind of.
would they be interested? And I don't want to say this because it makes it.
Huh?
I don't believe that Hagen's is there's anything wrong with the kid, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it anyways. Would they be interested in Hagen's in the 23rd and maybe something else for Shifley
dude.
if they're looking at a rebuild?
Hold on. I mean, maybe the reports are wrong, but if they're out there dangling the eighth overall pick, right? What is that? They think that they're
I think they're
delusional.
scared because
They
Hellebuck
think,
came out and made all those comments. He's
well, so they were going to write. So again, maybe that you're right. So maybe they should just go take the eighth overall pick from them because they're a stupid organization, don't know what the hell.
right, yeah, right, yeah. Well,
Honestly, but I don't have as much faith in Don Sweeney either, right? Like
I mean,
to me, like I think you could get, and I'm not again the eighth overall pick is going to be a good player, but it's not
mm,
going to be a player that's going to step in right like unless by miracle somebody drops in, and I don't see Keaton Beerhoff, dropping or Smith's dropping that
yeah,
far to where all of a sudden we're like, oh well, that's and Smith's is a left side D. I mean that doesn't really help.
right, yeah,
You could then, because he's cost controlled, then maybe ship off Hampus. There's a lot of, I guess, options that would.
right.
But why do I get the feeling that Don Sweeney would trade up to the eighth pick to grab like a guy who probably is not a top 10 forward?
Oh,
Like,
I know. That's what I'm
we
saying.
missed the boat. The defense
Yeah,
in this draft, the first six defensemen in this draft are lights out. The first 8 to 9 defensemen are all probably going to be NHL defensemen someday. Like this would take a lot to fuck this up. Excuse my
yeah,
language.
yeah. Well,
You know,
yeah, I
why
mean, come
do
on,
I
this
get
is what it's gonna be. Sweeney has a tendency. Okay, I mean, last show we'll say we're all like, well, he did take Higgins. At least he didn't,
uh,
Jake O'Brien. You know what I mean? So
uh,
yeah, I mean,
well again, no offense, don't take this the wrong way, but we haven't seen Higgins do anything yet.
I understand.
We haven't seen Jake
I
O'Brien do
understand.
anything yet.
Right.
So right,
I
it's
I don't
funny,
want to get into it because I wanted Porter Martone. I liked Higgins, but I wanted
but it
Martone.
is what it is. It
Yeah.
is what it is. It's
Right.
over. But again,
Right.
like go back to the eighth overall pick. I
Okay.
my, like if that's me and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, but what am I doing with that eighth overall pick?
Well,
Unless
is there
there's a
any?
guy there that I think because I'm in my war room and we've got it on the board and we're saying, Toronto, they're just gonna have to take McKenna. They know they're just gonna have to take McKenna. And then
Right.
the pick is gonna be, let's just say it's somebody that's gotta they for the life of them have gotta have Chase Reed and they trade with San Jose, they get Chase Reed, and then the third pick goes to Vancouver. They get their kid, they get
They would want. There's so many reports Vancouver wants Maholter. It's ridiculous at
Chicago
this
gets
point. It's
Stenberg.
not even a secret.
Chicago gets Stenberg. You got the Rangers sitting there at 5. They'll get their pick of Carrolls or Verhoff, and really,
Schmitz.
or Smiths. Yeah, yeah, any one of those. And then maybe by 8, one of those
There's
guys,
one of those guys left. Yeah, that's
right,
if every piece falls the way you need it to. That's
right,
a scary bet.
and
But
that's it,
could
right,
it be? Is there any chance in the world that Sweeney's like, well, if I get that eighth, I can use that to go get us a center because that eighth is worth more than the 23rd, and they're planning on not resigning Zaka because there is reports that he wants over 8 million.
right,
Is that it? Could that be the case? Because there is
right.
all reports out there that he wants more than 8, and they
So
may be thinking they're not going to resign him.
tell me the teams out there right now that have a center that that would fit that mold that would love. you know,
The name that you're going to hear and you've been hearing all past few months is Robert Thomas. Okay, does St. Louis want the eighth pick?
right. But that's the thing. Like, where is St. Louis? Because, like you said, I heard that they're out there talking to San Jose.
Yeah, San
Like,
yeah, and Toronto. Yeah,
but I don't think San Jose. That doesn't really seem to be a fit for Robert Thomas in San
nope,
Jose.
nope.
All the guys, they got tons of centers. They're
At
young,
the center,
look terrific, right?
right?
So where does that fit? I know Buffalo tried to take a shot at him, but
Yeah,
that does again that
they don't got the picks.
what yeah, what is yeah, what do they want from you know what I mean? Unless somehow they were going to read look at that deal that they had for Pareko, you know, where they
Hmm.
Merca to who knows? There's possibilities there, I guess.
Could
But
we could we trade for Ratty Merker? But we're getting off the subject. But I would,
yeah,
I, you
I
know,
think he's a great kid. Looks good. Um,
you know, would
but again, we got to go back to the you got to make Pasta happy, and the only way to make Pasta happy is they got to go out and get somebody.
yeah.
So unless his thought is that he's going to move Zaka, get the eighth overall pick, take the best player available, that's not really for this year. That's more.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm creating even more cap so I can then go sign who Alex Tuck. That doesn't
Oh,
fix your center. In
yeah,
fact, now you're now you're one less center, right?
yeah.
You're not probably re-signing Arvidsson. So maybe this is a bigger hole. Maybe just maybe they don't want to admit that this is a bigger rebuild this year than it was last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Then what?
And we have no clue what the conversations, if there's been any conversations. I've been scouring the internet with a management and
Yeah,
Zoc. I mean, Pasta or McAvoy. I
yeah,
mean, maybe they already know, and maybe they're like, okay, well, this is we're gonna have to.
right,
But
right.
then you should be talking to San Jose or Toronto. If one of them are moving, you should be talking to
Yeah,
one of those two. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, honestly, San Jose is probably the San Jose, the Rangers. Those are the teams that I'd be talking to,
Yeah,
right?
we talked about that in the
Calgary
last
doesn't
podcast.
really. That's not. There's nothing there to talk about. You know, Vancouver's. You know, there's nothing there to talk about. But
Nah,
I mean, unless unless maybe they were going to work out a deal for the 23rd pick to send to Vancouver for
Pedersen, I'd be okay with that because we don't know what you're going to get at 23.
so,
If that's was the deal,
so
I
pretty
would.
much unless this is maybe maybe we're looking at this wrong and not again. Here's the thing: I would never think the eighth overall pick for Elias Pettersson right now. That's not
No, I'm thinking the 23rd and something for
yeah.
Elias Pettersson.
But
His stock is low as can be
right.
right now. So
So then it would have to be Zaka and something else for the eighth
for
overall
the
pick,
eighth, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, would they do a future pick?
maybe Toronto's.
I don't know. Maybe they would.
No,
Again, if the Bruins are going to go take a like a you know a flyer on Pedersen for next to nothing, and you need and okay, you're sending Zaka away because you just don't have the room now, right? You're not just cap space, but you want to slot everybody in. It sounds like you would like to keep Mitten, you know, where he's at, right? Second or third,
yeah. I don't think Minton's going
or maybe
anywhere.
even you might even bump Castlick up to the third line center, and Mitten comes up a line, right? So
Hmm.
you know, maybe that works. Pedersen, you swing a deal for Pedersen. It's, you know, the only thing you're going to have to throw at it is money, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's it. Does that make Costa happy? You bring in a guy who's a former 40 goal, 100-point scorer?
I think it does because at least you're taking a chance. You're
Yeah.
trying something that could be, not just like, oh, here we got you another third line guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that honestly, if you're looking at Zaka at 8 million, then I guess another 3 million for Pedersen
Yeah,
with a
and
higher,
that's
right?
right, right.
I
I
guess
mean,
that.
to me, that makes more sense.
So
Now
yeah,
it could blow up in your face. So, but
and
I
that's
mean,
the thing. So right there, you just said it. Maybe then they solve two problems. You know, they go and get Pedersen and they plug that hole, and they with the eighth pick they somehow get again either one of the big guys. If it's Daxon Rudolph, who I like, but he's not NHL ready, right?
yeah,
Like so, that's a great pick. I think would be all right. Or and I thought about this before. Maybe just maybe they're going to take one more swing at center, and they are going to take a run at Vigo Bjork that you probably
Uh,
could date, right?
oh, I think that's a little high, but
Now I don't know, man.
he's
You
coming
listen
up.
to me,
I know I see people saying he's gonna be in the top 10. I've seen it,
dude. He was
seen multiple
he
people.
finished he finished the year at I think it's DeJarden, right? He finished that
Something like
season
that.
as their number one center.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I think he had like 8 goals and like 16 points. It wasn't a lot, but for a 17-year-old playing in the, in the Swedish, I mean, yeah, the SHL,
Yeah,
pretty, and
but
he
and then like
played.
I said to you
The fact that
before,
he's
what
playing
does
with
this say about
Canada
Higgins?
also,
This I think if they take Bigo, if they go up and get 8 to go get Bigo, this says this says we don't have any faith in Higgins. But it might also say, do they have any faith in Laterno? When I think Laterno is going to be a stud, I feel it in my bones. I know that's a gamble, but I feel like Laterno.
yeah.
If you're, I mean, because Bigo's not playing next year, so I mean, you think he's gonna play next year?
Stranger things have happened.
Okay.
Things have happened. You watch
I
him, watch the way the guy plays. You'd think maybe, but he is not like he's a stout kid. Like he's like 180 someone pounds, 5'9", 180. He's kind of built
yeah,
like Marchand, maybe a little bit bigger
yeah.
actually,
Yeah, I think Marchand's like 5'7", 180.
but has no fear,
Yeah, yeah.
plays plays that way. I mean, again, I don't. We're just speculating, right?
Right,
Like
right, right.
if the Bruins are going offense, that would be the only guy you could go up there that high without it being Stenberg or Maholtra, right? Like well, I mean, obviously McKenna, but you're not getting
I
McKenna
don't. Yeah, I don't see Ivar or
or Belches. Okay, so Belches could be a similar, to your Porter Martone. Not exactly the same player, but you know what I mean. Is kind of that bigger, you know, can snipe, can get to the dirty areas, can play that heavy game, right?
and
I mean, maybe that's the kid that they're falling in love with.
I could see him coming down to eighth. I could.
Yeah, yeah. Is he NHL ready? Probably not,
Uh, Probably not.
right? But
Probably
again,
not.
so maybe again, we don't know. He got to bug up his ass about Dean Letourneau, and he had to get a pick. He had to get a pick, and he
So
made that.
I wonder if this is the same thing. He's got somebody that he's really
Well, you know
hyped
what?
on.
We so far, I mean, we don't know what Dean Letourneau is going to be the finished product, but so far, it's turning out okay for Don, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
he got Kastelik, and he got this kid, and Dean Letourneau out of it. So okay,
Well, let's go. See that we're talking about that trade.
yeah,
You want to get into the Yoki Haru Corpy thing, or the Lorai being on the trade block?
yeah. Let's start with Corpy and congrats to Corpy and
Yoki
Yoki
Haru.
Haru for winning the World Championships, right? I mean,
I
they both,
so yeah,
yeah, they both played.
and they played well.
Right? Like yeah, I watched a
Yeah,
bunch of games. Like goes back to, and again, I'm not trying to pick on Stern, but like the knowing how to put guys in a place to succeed, right, is kind of important, right? And in that tournament, Yoki Haru looked more like an offensive player, looked more like a mobile defenseman than he's ever looked in,
yeah.
right? In at least under Sturm.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't. I think he looked really good. The little highlights I saw of Worlds, and you're right. I don't think Sturm style of defense doesn't use that. It doesn't
Right.
use that, right?
No,
I mean, hopefully though, hopefully he's a intelligent enough coach to see what worked and what didn't work and make changes. If
right,
he's not, then we're kind of screwed, right?
right.
But
Again,
hopefully he is.
right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suddenly, saying that Yogi Haru was this all
No,
was
no,
never.
no, no. Yeah,
I'm not saying that at all. Let's
no,
get. He's still a number 5 guy,
right, right.
right? But still, like his usefulness was, optimized in
Yeah.
tournament. Same with Corpusalo. We saw Corpusalo play well in stretches. So
I'm just hoping that this brings up Corpy's stock so we can trade him. That's all I'm
maybe,
hoping on Corpy. You
maybe
know?
I'm with you. I'd like to see DiPietro at least give the kid a chance, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We need to. You
Right.
need to. Yeah, you
I mean,
have to. The kid won.
for the
He won
morale, right,
the MVP of the league, and he won. He's the only other goaltender besides Wolf to ever win
right.
back to back. What is that guy? Paz? What's that word?
Yeah, yeah, the bat, yeah, yeah.
Paz, right? Right. He's the only other goaltender in the history of them to do it,
Bat.
to win that twice in a row, besides that kid from
And
Calgary,
he
I
won the
think, right?
MVP, right? From the league
Yeah, he won
MVP.
the MVP too. That's what I'm saying. You got to
But I
give
think
this kid a chance.
right, and I think the reason, and not just because he's earned it, but for the organization, for the development, because we've already heard it, right? We're already hearing that agents are telling
Oh yeah,
your guys that the you don't want to go to Boston. We've already lost, one, in Gasso, a prospect,
yep.
the fifth pick. He might have
Yeah,
been
and
the third, but
Jelvik
whatever it was.
too, right?
But and Jeldick, they weren't even going to talk to the Bruins. It sounds like
Uh,
so.
there's been reports that it's among there's
Right, they don't
rumblings among
believe in the organization,
agents that
right?
they're not developing there, so you
Right.
really don't want to go to Providence.
Yeah. So that's going to make it hard for them to sign college free agents too, right? I
Oh
mean,
god, I know that's scary. It's so scary.
right,
It's
they
so
the
scary.
goalie there who seems like I'm just hoping, because think about it, they signed that kid and he's with him thinking that, okay, I mean, I'm going to get a chance to play and prove myself, but they already have two other goalies on top of DiPietro, right?
Right, right.
So
They signed that
how
other
much?
kid that was going crazy, and what was it? Maine, was it?
Yeah,
The what they signed it just the beginning before
Ab-
the began. Yeah, there was lights out when they he's supposed to be going there too. So we got what are they gonna do? They're gonna have a backlog of goalies in Providence? I mean,
yeah. Again, like just for the sake of the prospects coming in, you got to give guys opportunities. If not, people
yeah,
are sign with Boston, and you know what I mean. Again, like the last thing you want is for, like, look at the Greenwald kid. It sounds like they're having second thoughts about whether or not they want to sign with Boston. You know what I mean?
yep.
Uh, you don't want that.
Uh,
Pelosi sounds like that kid might end up being something. You don't want them to start thinking that they don't want to sign with this organization because
the Jackson Edward thing is still bugging me.
I know,
So
I
still
know.
bugging me. I had high hopes for that kid. He was a mean dude, and he had a shot like you
Right.
wouldn't believe.
That's what I get for opening my mouth around other people,
I
and
know.
they they immediately said, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at him a little closer."
I know. See,
Uh,
this is what you did, man. You messed this up. You shouldn't
they,
be talking around
they,
people. I'll tell
they snatched him right up.
you.
I,
But
hey, good on the kid. I'm glad to see him.
yeah, he's gonna. Hopefully, he
Having
gets in the
having
league. And
success. He got a chance to play a little bit there in Lehigh Valley.
oh, oh, it's so upsetting. It's just because I
Yeah,
saw that kid play for a couple years now, and I was like, I can't wait till he's a Bruin. He's gonna smash folks, and he's gonna be great defensively. And
yeah,
I was just
yeah,
excited. Now
yeah.
I got to watch Flyers games to see him play.
Right, right. Yeah, they love him. They love him. They think
Yeah,
he's on track to say he's a good kid, which we already knew, right?
yeah,
I hope they don't screw that up, with some of these other kids. Because
yeah. Well,
this Loke Johnson kid, I think they
Luke
just
Johnson.
need to give him more time
Well,
to instead of having the Max Wanners down there for crying out loud, taking up your ice time.
what
Let's
about Lock Mellis? Lock Mellis, if he comes back and he's like, well, man, they ain't doing nothing with me here. I'm gonna. That's another kid. I really think he should be in the lineup soon.
Yeah, hopefully his rehab is going okay. It sounds like,
I
and
haven't seen nothing that said he wasn't. So
yeah, so hopefully they'll give him a chance at camp, and we'll see what happens with him. Right, like that's a
yeah,
wild. Is he going to come in and light up the world? No, but I'd like to
no.
see him earn a spot, maybe even get a fourth line job, to start the season. Right?
Well, there's people on this team that could go, and we could
I
have
agree.
guys that are got higher ceilings. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like Corelli as just seems like a
right,
good dude every interview, but
right,
he could go, and we could make
right,
room for a kid that's
right.
gonna, could
Patra needs to graduate. Patra needs to graduate this season.
Patra needs to go.
That's got to happen,
If
right?
they don't keep him, then I mean, if they keep him, he needs to come up. If he don't, if you're not gonna bring him up, get something for him
Right.
because it's wasted, just wasted.
Not
I
just.
don't,
I'm with you. I think if they have no plans for him, they should move him at the draft
yep,
and give him. And you know what else that says to again, that will help in the way that they're seeing that. Okay, hey, we didn't have room for him, so we gave him a chance somewhere else, right?
Is Patra worth like say 30th pick or the 29th pick?
He's probably worth a second rounder, maybe.
Well, because I'm wondering, could you get the 20? Could you take the 23rd and maybe a late, like the end of the first or the beginning of the second, and get the Ruck twins?
I don't know if you've been
Could
watching,
you get
but
the?
it looks like it sounds to me like those both of those kids now are going to
I,
squeak into the first round. So someone's going to have to pony up two late first round draft picks for them.
well, that's what I'm saying. Could you get him with the 23rd and maybe package something to get like a 30th or the
Do it,
28th or 26th?
do
Because
it,
I think if you get one, I think they're
do it,
gonna.
do it.
I like the Ruck twins. I think there could be,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
something special about them too. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Is Boston the place that's going to develop? See, this is what I hate.
I
Now,
know that's the problem. You had to say it, right? Why would they want to come here? And is that the place for them to develop, right?
yeah, I mean, this is the
Nobody
problem.
has.
This is what the perception is now is that Boston is this terrible place for young players, right?
Well, what's the guy's name? Mangiapane. What's the no?
Coach down in Providence.
Yeah, him. I think he's got to
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
yeah,
I think he's got to go. I mean, we talked about this before, where
yeah,
you look at the amount of people that have played over 150 games in the NHL when Cassidy was the coach in the AHL, and you look at under this guy, it's not it's like he's like 10% of how many people
yeah,
that Cassidy developed. It's like
yeah,
10%.
yeah.
That's absurd. Um, well, all right. The next thing is there's reports, multiple reports that Lorai is on the trade block. He's supposedly in that mythical the the group text chat that's with all
Right,
the GMs that
right,
Razor talked about earlier this year.
right.
That Lorai is on there. And so, I mean, we kind of figured that was probably
Yeah,
why they pulled him out of the playoffs. They didn't want nothing to get damaged to their, their trade chip, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well,
what are they
again,
going to? What is that deal? Is that the same thing we're talking about with the eighth? Is there something that maybe not the eighth, but maybe that they're looking to make a deal for a center? It's got to be a center, though, right? If you're going to make a deal with big pieces, it's got to be a center. Has to be.
I, again, if hold on, if you're moving Zaka, you're
Hmm.
letting Arvidsson go, you're going
Hmm.
to have plenty of cap space, but you still don't have a center, and now you barely have a second line. So
Is
what
that Cairo and Robert Thomas? Because you need a wing. Once if you get rid of if Arvidsson leaves and Zaka leaves, and you get is that I mean that would fill those spaces. Is that what that is? You're making a deal. You're trying to move up to get the eighth, and so you can package the eighth with Lorai and some other pieces to get those two from St. Louis.
well, do that deal then. Go for it. If that deal
And,
works, you could do that deal and you get Robert Thomas and Cairo, as long as they don't have a beef against each other. Like we don't know what the hell was going in that locker
right,
room.
right, right.
Why suddenly two guys, one's a former 40 goal scorer, the other guy's a consistent, 20 goals, 70-point guy,
Hmm.
center. Like, what's going on there? Like, are they damn
Well,
goods or was it just a locker room thing or was it
well,
a thing? Like,
the
what? Like,
the
but explain
Cairo
to you. If
Cairo, there was reports last year that he didn't
yeah,
like Montgomery and that he was
yeah,
not happy with Montgomery. I know Cairo, there was multiple people even last year that said that him and Montgomery bumped heads. So I don't know about him with Robert Thomas, but there was multiple reports that said that him and Cairo and Montgomery were not friends. So I
right.
mean,
So would like I see what you're saying. So you trade Zaka off for the eighth pick
yep,
and whatever other pieces, and then you send the eighth
low
pick and
eighth pick,
and
low
a
rye,
future
and
first round pick with low rye and something else, and you
I
get Robert Thomas and Cairo back.
I
Okay,
wonder if you're sending him Hagens. Hagens. I wonder if Hagens, the eighth pick, Lowry, and maybe something else.
okay,
Maybe two something else. I don't know. But
okay. Well then that's okay. But think about that. Now you have Pasta now has a center to play with.
mm-hmm.
You have
Hey,
options. You can even put him with. It's not as Cairo is a left wing or right wing. Left.
I think he plays. Let me look. I think he played both. I think he's done both, but uh,
I think you're right.
or
Cairo right here.
yeah,
Stats.
play. see what it says here.
I mean, he shoots right. He
He said it's mostly played exclusively on the right wing.
yeah. Apparently, he was a center at one time, which is hilarious because I don't
Yeah.
remember.
But I mean, still, even let's yeah, but then you still think about you got Geeky still, and if he so and Geeky has played on both the left and the right. I think was originally a right wing. I think.
Yeah, he
Um,
shoots righty, doesn't he?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, putting Cairo on the left with you told me, hey, I'm going to put you with Robert Thomas and Pasternak. I think maybe they would at least see how that works. If not, you still have Geeky up there, right? And Geeky, we've talked about this before. I don't think he's a
Right.
playmaker, but I mean, you still have him up there in that top line. Then you got Cairo to fill in where Arvidsson was,
And Minton
Minton number two.
and
Yeah,
Morales. Oh my God, that line would fly all over the ice. That would be
yeah, yeah. You're talking Jordan Cairo, Minton, and Marat. Woo,
yeah,
woo.
yeah,
That speed. You got speed finally.
yeah. And maybe Cairo could put home some of those chances those two guys could create.
Well, yeah.
That'd be kind of fun to watch. Just the fact that they would skate other teams into the ground would be
Oh,
kind
and the way Marat works to
well,
get pucks.
right, right. That's what I'm saying. Like he skates his butt off.
Yeah.
He works. He gets in there hard. He generated a lot of chances. They just couldn't score on enough of them.
That
Um,
kind of gives you two legit front lines. I mean, that kind of does. If you can pull that
yeah,
off, that really,
yeah,
still got to worry about defense. But that would give you definitely would have a first, a second, and a fourth. Third line, there's some discussion on things for the third line,
sure.
but you would have a first, second, and a fourth, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, remember, you still have Elias Lindholm that
So yeah, that's your third line, but with that
there's
weird,
your third line. Well, there you go. You're right. There's your third line, and you throw in a couple of pluggers, and make it a checking line. Who
yeah.
knows?
But I mean that if you could make that deal work, if they're thinking we got to get the eighth to get St. Louis on board, because then I could see it. I mean that's good on Sweeney if that's what he's really thinking. If he, I mean,
Right.
I'm okay with that. Uh,
Right.
I don't know if that's really he doesn't seem like he plays chess. He really
Uh,
doesn't. He's kind of a checkers guy, even though he
right.
thinks he's a
Right.
Harvard dude.
So
I don't
essentially,
really.
what you're saying, what he'd be thinking is that Minton is going to naturally replace, Zaka,
Yep.
and it's a similar player, right? It's a guy who's never going to probably score 100 points, but he maybe top us out at 30-30, just like Zaka just did, but you have him as a much cheaper, younger, faster.
Well, look at it this way too. You're right. Yeah, Minton could be basically Zaka, right? Maybe with a little more defense, right? But Zaka's pretty damn
Or
good.
Zaka's already pretty good
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So
Yeah,
but I'm saying that
right.
you're going to get it cheaper. You're going to give him longer because he's younger.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what could you imagine though if you did that deal? They're both pretty young, Robert Thomas and Cairo, and you have Fraser Minton and Laterno comes next year. You have the top three centers coming down. They're beautiful. Oh, beautiful
right,
three centers. I mean,
right,
I'd put, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Center is not a problem anymore. you know,
right. But this is fantasy, right? Like
right? I know it's
who
fantasy,
knows?
but I'm just saying.
That's
You know what I mean?
and that's $17 million that would be coming over from St. Louis. $16.5 million
Yep.
over from St. Louis. So I
Yeah.
guess right, sending $6 million from Zach out the door, $4 million from Arvidsson. I guess at that point you're probably trading away Casey
We're
Middleton.
trading to Lori. Lori's 3.5 or 4. So
Right, right. You're gonna have plenty of cap space at that
yeah,
point. I mean, I think if Vegas wins the cup, probably Rasmus Anderson resigns.
yeah, probably.
Right, so that's out. Maybe they try to swing a deal for.
Zellweger.
No, I was thinking, what's the kid out there
Oh,
in Seattle?
Calgary. Oh, Seattle. Oh, Dunn. Dunn. No,
Yeah, I think
Dunn.
so. Maybe that works.
Yeah. Maybe White Cloud, but I mean, I don't know if he's a
Like
huge
a
upgrade.
bigger plugger, like that type of
Yeah.
guy. They need a faster guy who could skate,
Yeah.
kind of take some of the load off of Charlie, and I could see maybe going to get a Vince. He's a lefty, I think too. He'd fit right in really well with Charlie, I think. Right?
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be fair. Um, and honestly, he also a little more offensive player. Like they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get enough offense generated from the back end. That wouldn't be bad. And you're right. Maybe if I mean, who knows? We're totally spitballing here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like all fantasy, but
Well,
you're right. You're right.
Crazier things have happened in this league. I will
Yeah.
say, there's some crazy trades have come out some years, and you're like,
Right.
oh my god. So
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's not impossible, but you're right. It's on the edge of, but I, I mean, with Sweeney, you never know what that guy's gonna do. Usually, it's not crazy, but then sometimes I'm like, he just traded away Marshawn.
Right.
I mean, like, nobody thought most people assumed Marshawn was gonna retire as a Boston Bruin.
Right.
Right, you know what I mean? So it's possible he's coming up with something. I mean, we do know he talked to St. Louis during the trade
Sure.
deadline. We do know he talked about Calgary about Rasmus Anderson.
Right.
I mean, so he has been making these
Right.
conversations.
Right.
At least that's good for us. He is talking to these people.
Right. Oh, right. So I think if we're pretty much just convinced that he's trying to make this team competitive with what he has, he's
Yeah.
going to try to add, as best he can, whether that's a Robert Thomas or Mason McTavish or
You
right.
want to know my biggest concern, though? My biggest concern is he's going to do what he did the year before last, where he went out, got Lindholm, and
Sign Tuck and somebody else, and
yeah, it was Lindholm and Zadorov, which Zadorov I think was a good signing, but going after just whatever's out there because you don't think you can't make any moves, or
right,
you're not going to have the stern, they're not going to have the balls. Let's just call to make big moves with people
right,
because you don't want the
right,
the backlash from it. I think he's going to go talk and try to offer Rasmus Anderson a butt ton of money. I have this feeling that he's going to not be. He doesn't have the fortitude and the I don't care. We're gonna trade away this person. We're gonna trade that and get the guys we really need. He's gonna go. Well, I got the guys. I got you some guys. It's not my
right,
fault, because that's the
right.
cop out, right? It's the easy way to say it. Hey, I got you guys. I didn't. This is not my fault. I got you some guys. Does Tuck and
Like,
Rasmus do enough?
but
Mm,
to me, like I see opportunity here where if the Bruins wanted to rebuild, like and
yeah,
go
yeah. We talked
get
about that last time. Yeah,
like because I mean I've heard some again not to rehash this, but like I mean I've heard people say things about Chase Reed,
yeah, yeah,
and they're making comparisons to Schaefer. Not that they're the same player, but Chase Reed skates at an elite level
yeah.
and has a mind for the game like
You
we
would have to get
again
in the top four, Mike. The
and
top
that
four to even have a discussion
I
about
think he's going
Chase
to go
Reed.
right. I think he's right. But I'm just saying, like this would be the if there was ever a time to
Yeah,
maybe
to
go
do
and
it, sure.
steal make your team like get your team prepared for
Uh,
the
I
generation of you know what I mean? Like give up
sure.
on this one, give up on Charlie, give up
Right,
on
right.
uh, get rid of it. Like you said, if you can trade those guys, if you could trade Charlie for the fifth pick, you trade Pasta for the second pick,
But wait,
and you go and get the eighth pick from Winnipeg.
I love that.
Can you?
That's
I can tell you
amazing.
right now, I'm getting Stenberg with the Chase Reed with the second. You're getting Stenberg maybe or Vigo whatever maybe with the fifth pick, and then you get maybe another defenseman with the eighth
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. I mean, I saw a stat. The top five picks only once in what they say. I think it said since 2003, the top five pick has only been moved once in the
Yeah,
top five, and then in the top 10, it's been 11 times since uh 2020 something years that I think that's what I saw. It was 11 times in the first 20 years that in the top 10 a pick's been moved. So it's not that much, but you have more chance between 5 and 10 getting traded than you do 1 through 5. They don't get moved that
yeah,
often.
and that's
Um,
the thing. Like, because again, to me, like it seems to me like Stenberg is probably going to be one of the stars out of this draft, right?
yeah, I'm pretty
Reed
sure.
eventually, Chase
Yeah.
Reed will eventually be a star coming out of this draft.
I've
Preston
always liked
Carroll,
Keaton
thank you.
Verhoff, and I think Keaton
Right,
Verhoff is going to be, even
one
though
of those
people are kind of
three.
down on him right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I take it back what I said about Anderson and Tuck. It's gonna, what it's gonna be that's even worse. It's gonna be Radish. That he's so high, and people are so high on Radish, and he's had one good year, a phenomenal year. He's had okay years. He's not a bad guy, not a bad player, but this year is an outlier. It's not
Yeah,
the real thing.
no,
And I have this scary
right,
vision of
right.
Sweeney
I
going,
really,
Radish is our king. I mean, he's
right,
the guy. Oh my
right,
God, Mike.
right,
Oh my God.
right. Yeah, 6 years,
Oh.
6 years, $8 million.
Oh yeah, and he's back to 30 points, or to back to
Right,
yeah. I mean, oh
right,
God, oh, that's I have to. I'll pay Rasmus Anderson because I know what he gets, and you're not getting 70
right,
points from it, but I'll take that over a guy being half of what you just paid for.
right.
Because I do not think Radish is that guy. I think he had a
No,
really good year. I
yeah,
think he's a decent player, but
right,
someone's going to way overpay this dude.
right,
And I'm scared it's Sweeney. We're gonna get him, and I'm gonna say we did something.
right. He's a Radish is a
He's a
poor man.
Lance Lindholm.
He's a poor man's Johnny Boychuk.
Oh, we're that way. Man, I was just saying the contract would be like Elias Lindholm, where you overpay
Oh,
for a guy that you're not,
oh,
had a couple of good years with
yeah.
superstar players around him, and you know,
Let's think happy thoughts. I don't want to even think like he's
oh, oh, it
making
hurts. It
stupid
hurts.
sign like that, right? Like
Yeah,
there are some. Hold on, there are some other guys he could maybe go and try to get. The Matt Corrado out of
mm,
Calgary maybe wouldn't be a bad pickup, right? To kind of make for depth. He could end up being a very similar player to Geeky, right?
yeah.
But the problem is you don't have any facilitators.
I, I if you're gonna do that, I almost would rather back to the we talked about it before, but the Mason McTavish and Zellweger. I'd
Yeah,
rather take my chances with those two guys. At least McTavish has the grit and the Boston kind of style of guy that you want. I mean, he may not be a first, but maybe you think Letourneau is going to be your first, and McTavish gives us fills the spot for now. And he's good. He's young, and he could, you
right.
know,
But
and
but to the whole thing point is though is for this coming season, because again I'm with you, but if you're just going to wash this season, then you go and get the eighth pick, and then you have a few seasons to let him develop. But if you need something for this coming season, right? Like I'm with you. I worry that this is we're going back to the old, Jacobs days where just get the playoffs, and I care about my money. I don't care about feeling.
yeah,
They'll go and sign Tuck for $10 million, and they'll go and sign somebody else on the back end for 5 or 6 million or 7 or 8 million. Who
yeah.
knows? It probably
Well,
won't be.
there's reports. There is reports that Trocheck is there. They're been talking to Trocheck,
I
and
hope.
I don't want this. I
I
don't mind. I think he's a good player, but that's not what we need. He's too man. That's not going to make this team. We're not cup bound. We're not long term looking cup bound. Trocheck doesn't do that for us. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, but hold on. He not to not. I hear what you're saying, but I will give the guy some credit. He probably would slide in and be our. Again, unfortunately, he would be our first line center on
But
this
is
team.
he
He would probably with Pasta. He probably scored 30 goals and have 70 points.
okay? If
But
he's
but again, like that's he's not the guy that's going to go out and single. He's not going head to head with the Jack Eichels of the world, right? Like
right.
this is what Carolina's about to run into is that they're
Well,
going
okay.
to
So if you go get Trocheck,
middle.
but listen, if you go get Trocheck, and let's say you got to go get it the right side D. So let's for argument's sake, let's say Rasmus Anderson. If you get Trocheck and Rasmus Anderson, does that put us in a better spot than
No,
we were this year? Did we
no,
go higher than the first round this year? Maybe we go to the second. But does it
no.
really do anything?
We're in the Atlantic Division. I think they're screwed, right? Like
Right.
unless again, the only guy that really tilts the needle is probably if a right as rain Elias Pettersson or Robert Thomas plays
Exactly. The
Pasta.
only two.
Pasta is allowed to go back to being Pasta. The
Right.
guy pulls the trigger, and he'll with a guy like that, he'll still get 60 plus assists because he's going to make that guy look good too. But he's going to go back to being the 50 goal scorer that he is,
I,
right?
I'm going to give you a hot take, and if there's
Oh,
people that actually watch this show, this is going to be a hot take. Okay, no one wants to admit that there isn't a podcaster out here. None of even the people I love that I watch all the time, and I watch a
yeah.
lot of Bruins podcasts. A lot of other, no one will admit that that's the only two guys in the league that are possible to get,
Oh,
anyways.
I know.
That
Really,
will
it
make a
really
difference. That would
exactly.
make a legitimate difference. But lots of you, man, there's so many. I watch them all, and I love a lot of them. So don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah,
I watch Bruins diehards. I love that Lalonde kid. I love Evan Marnos.
yeah.
But they all were like, "Well, you could do this and you might do that." But let's be honest. There's only two. There's Robert Thomas is the number one guy that you need to go get to really make a difference. And if Elias Pettersson can be who he was, he's the other guy. That's it. There is nobody else that you could go get and it would make us like, wow, we
You,
can really make a
hold on,
difference.
hold on. If Winnipeg was actually get their head out of their butt and realize that they don't have the pieces, and maybe it would be beneficial to trade Mark Scheifele. The only
Oh,
problem
Shifley.
they
Okay,
don't really
sure.
have the.
But is he? Do you think he's?
There's a number
They
one
can move
center.
him? Yeah. If you think Winnipeg's willing to move Shifley, sure. I'm talking about guys that
Yeah,
Shifley could be
right.
in that
No,
list. But do you think right now there's reports at least that they're willing to move Elias Pettersson and Robert Thomas? If Shifley's on that list of people to move, I give you three. Now there's three, but that's all there is. That
they
we
have
need.
right.
Yeah,
They moving Scheifele because if they're talking about trading the eighth pick,
yeah.
right?
They're trying
And
to
they're
make
not
something
trading.
there.
They're not looking to move Mark Scheifele. They're stupid. They are.
Right.
Stupid. Their
But
goalies
all
on
these
the back
other
nine.
guys.
Their goalies on the back nine. They're wasting Kyle Connor's career.
Yeah.
Right. They have maybe four guys on all their roster that you'd trade for, and that's about it. Right.
Right.
They're on crack. They're like Don Sweeney mode for crying out loud. They think they got more than what they really have, and they're not coming to reality. So yes, I feel bad for Mark Scheifele because I think they're once again they're gonna punch up above what they have for talent, and yet people are gonna still say that they underachieved, right? Like I feel bad.
Right.
But anyways, moving on.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, there's really only a couple
Oh no,
people that would
you're right.
make this
Right,
team really better.
right, right. A motivated Elias Pettersson who decides to show up and play
Oh,
hockey
come on.
is a
See,
beast.
if you forgot about the past 2 years and said, I'm taking Elias Pettersson with Pasternak, everybody was like, oh my God, that's an incredible line. Okay. If you forget about the past couple years and you said,
Yeah,
Elias Pettersson with Pasta, there wouldn't be a person on earth that would be like, "Oh man, that's okay."
yeah, right,
No,
right,
no.
right,
I mean,
right. That's a pretty sick line, right? Like you can
yeah,
put anybody on the left side at that point, and it's done.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And the same thing with Robert Thomas, right? Like,
Same thing. Robert Thomas is going to do the
right,
same thing.
right,
He's going to make plays. He's going to
right,
take pressure off Pasta. I
right.
mean, it's just going to
Pasta's
open
gonna make
things up.
him look. Pasta would make Robert Thomas look better than he's ever looked in his life.
Life.
He will put
Yeah.
up bigger numbers than he's ever
Look
put up.
what he's done for everybody else that's been on his line.
I know,
They're
right?
not even at the caliber of Robert Thomas, and look what he's done for those people.
I
Come
know,
on, you
I
know.
know.
I mean,
How he turned a 20 goal scorer into almost a 40 goal scorer this year.
exactly. I mean, when Elias Lindholm can still get 50 something points and he's terrible, and he still gets 50 something points, don't even. I mean, he made Geeky look like the super stud goal scorer. And that's Pasta doing all that.
I
That
know.
is Pasta doing all that. That's another reason why I say get rid of Geeky.
Yeah, that's why he's frustrated.
Yeah, you heard him. He said that's not my role anymore. When they asked him how to be a goal, how come he's not scoring goals?
Right.
He knows what he was saying. He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, that's what, I can't." That's really what he's saying is I can't because I gotta take care of everybody else. You know,
Right. 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 When I got five guys coming to me, I got to move the puck to somebody else that can score,
right?
and I got
You know,
to and I got to put it on a tee so they can tap it into the ocean. Tap tap tappy. Right.
tell me he don't miss Marchand. Just tell
Oh,
me he don't miss Marchand.
right.
Yeah,
That's because they took. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's
Sure.
absolutely ridiculous.
Stern probably wouldn't have played them on the same line though. Anyways.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways,
Um.
um, so next week, what are we looking at? We sh- we should do like more of an in-depth of who really we think the Bruins could pick at 23 if they do
Yeah.
pick at
Let's do that.
23.
I've started going through a bunch of the draft prospects. There's some
Okay.
singled out. I'd love to see the Bruins get. But here's the thing: some of these guys that were sleepers
They're
that
moving up.
Preston can, They all of a sudden
The
they're
Blyle kid.
other people. Yeah, people have done the same thing. The scouts are, they were trying to hide them, and now people have kind of said, "Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
well, because the Lynn people thought Lynn was going to be there. People think the
yeah,
Blyle kid's going to be there, but I'm not sure if they're either one's going to be there now.
yeah, yeah." The Blount kid's a tremendous player. I don't think he gets enough. You know, yeah, yeah. Uh, Again, we'll go over that. I have a whole list of guys and all their
Uh,
strengths and weaknesses, and where we think they might fall, and maybe we can even do a mock draft.
yeah, yeah,
That would be kind of fun too.
yeah. Let's down. I'm down for that too. All
Right.
right, let's call it a night here, and thanks for watching the Two Bros Bruins Talk podcast. Like and subscribe. All right, bro. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
See ya.
See you.